Hello everyone, welcome to a new video. So if you didn't see my Instagram post, I have some very sad news. So unfortunately, I somehow accidentally erased everything that had to do with my YouTube. Just gone. Just I was so upset. I still am. But it is what it is. There's nothing I can do about it. We spent a lot of money trying some recovery programs to see if I could get those videos back. I recovered them, but they must have been corrupted or something because they wouldn't play. So now we're trying to just see if we can at least get a refund. It looks like we might be able to get half of it back, but I don't know. It's been an ordeal and very sad. I lost 5 pre-recorded videos, so that's why there was no video last week, because I was dealing with all this crap and everything else, and I lost all my b-roll footage. I lost my intro, so I'm either gonna have to try and remember how I did it or make a new intro. Lost my music. Like, it was just so sad. So anyways, my video that was supposed to be last week, I couldn't re-record it because it was a reorganizing my shelves video, and so my shelves are already organized now, so I could have like messed it up and pretended to organize it, but that just seemed dumb. So unfortunately, I can't pre-record that video. But at the end of the video, I did a book unhaul as well, because the whole reason I was reorganizing my shelves was because my hardback thriller shelf didn't have any more room on it, and a lot of my book of the month books go on that shelf, and I get those every month, so I needed the space. So that's why I reorganized in the first place, and I moved things around on about 3 of my shelves. So this is the shelf that I was reorganizing because I needed more space. These are my hardback thrillers, and I actually managed to get an entire shelf and a half of space, so that's awesome. And I actually was able to recover a video, so I do have some footage to show you. So here's my bookshelves that I'm talking about up in my bedroom. You can't really see the whole thing because the camera would have to be like way back there, and it would be very tiny. So anyways, so these are my hardback horrors and my Darcy Coates, and then I have novellas down at the bottom. I'm going to keep the novellas there, but I think I'm going to shuffle some things around and see if I can fit some of my hardback thrillers up here to save me room on that other bookshelf. So I'm going to move some of this stuff. I think I'm going to change my Darcy Coates books and put them over on my other bookcase over there. So I'm going to take these off. Ugh, they're kind of dusty. Okay, I think I might put these top ones. These are the same size as my hardbacks, but they're technically paperbacks. Maybe I'll put those over by my Darcy Coates books, if they'll fit. So these are all my hardback supernatural thrillers. It might sound counterintuitive, but I'm going to move those and put those on that other shelf because they are also hardbacks, and that's where I'm going to put my Darcy Coates stuff. Okay, so I've stacked some of them up going vertical, but it's kind of annoying because they're not all the same size, because a lot of her books I bought when she was self-published, so she's not like the same height like her books are nowadays when you see them in the stores. So that's kind of annoying, but it is what it is. I was going to put the stack next to it, but there's really not enough room. Plus, I kind of want to keep some room for future Darcy Coates books that come out. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. Okay, so I put my Ambrose Ibsens down there, and then there's like one little novella that I put there. That gives me enough space to have 2 or 3 more Darcy books, and maybe a little bit of space on the other one. So, that's what we're going to do for now. Okay, now what to do over here. So these are all horror hardbacks, like I said. This stack here is more like supernatural haunted house stuff. So I don't know if I want to keep those like horizontal or just mix them in with my other stuff. I don't know. And then down here, I have my giant stack of thrillers, or supernatural thrillers that I have to put away. Okay, so now right here I put all the books I've already read, except for I haven't read this Christopher Golden one, but I wanted it with the rest of my Christopher Goldens. And then I haven't read Mary yet, but there was just a spot for it, so I just put it there. So then I got my Emma Amor, and then the rest of my hardback horror right here. So now I have 2 shelves, and I still have a space for 1 or 2 more horrors. So awesome. We love that. So I decided it might be fun as part of the book haul to read 50 pages of each of these books and then decide from there whether I wanted to keep them or not. Because I have a really hard time unhauling books that I haven't read. Like if I've read it and I didn't like it or it was just okay, go ahead and get rid of it. But if I haven't read it, in the back of my mind is, the potential for this to be a really good book. And what if I give it away and then I regret it later? People start saying it's amazing or it's awesome. So I have a really hard time giving away books that I haven't actually read yet. So I was gonna just read the first 50 pages and see if it piques my interest, see if it's something I want to keep or get rid of. So for like 3 months, I've been reading these books because I didn't want to do it all at once, because just reading 50 pages of like a bunch of books seems like it could put me in a reading slump, and I didn't want to do that to myself. And I had a lot of NetGalley arcs that needed to be read and book club books, and so I didn't really have a whole lot of time. So I couldn't do it all at once. So I spread it out between like 3 months. And then every time I finished a couple of books, I would record myself. Well, all of that footage is gone now. So some of these books I don't even really remember. So I don't know. I'm just going to do the best I can. But I'm going to tell you the books that I read from and tell you which ones I decided to keep and which ones I decided to get rid of. So one of them is already gone. It was Listen for the Lie from Amy Tintera. And I did read that book and I did enjoy it for the most part. But at the same time, it wasn't like a favorite. And it was like every single character in that book was just cheating on everybody else, and which I found a little bit ridiculous. There's like 8 different people that were all cheating on each other. The plot just kind of got ridiculous in that way. I mean, I did like it. I did think it was good, but it's not something I'm ever going to reread, and it didn't like blow my socks off. So I just decided to go ahead and get rid of it, but I've already sold it on Pango, so that one's gone. So let's go ahead and get started with some of these books. So the first three, I didn't read the first 50 pages. I just decided to get rid of them, even though I haven't read them yet, which I know I don't usually do. But the first one is The Chain by Adrian McKinty. And this one I decided to get rid of because I read The Island by this author and I was so excited for it, and I DNF'd it. I did not like that book. I did not like the writing style at all. I didn't like the characters. They were all despicable. Even the ones that we're supposed to be rooting for, I didn't like them. So this one, I have not heard the best things about this one. I hear the first half is really good and then the last half sucks. And so I'm like, if I already didn't like his other one, which everybody thinks is amazing, and this one, people already say it's not that good, then maybe I'm just wasting my time. And the problem is, everybody says that the beginning is really good and then it starts to peter off. So reading the first 50 pages wouldn't tell me anything, because what if the first 50 pages are really good? But that doesn't tell me if it's worth my time in the end. So I got this at a thrift store for like $6. So I'm like, I'm just going to get rid of it. Okay, then I got The Wives from Taryn Fisher. This one I got for like a quarter or something. Well, maybe not a quarter, maybe it was like 75 cents. But either way, I got this at a library sale, and I just kind of got it on a whim because it was a thriller. But since then, I haven't really heard any good things about Taryn Fisher, to be honest. Like, everybody says she's mediocre or just okay or not very good. And I read the premise, and this has to do with like polygamy and stuff, which I don't know. I'm just not that interested in that. So I'm going to get rid of it. And then we have Believe Me by J.P. Delaney. And this was another one where I read the premise and it just didn't grab my attention. I just didn't really care. So I don't want to waste my time with this. I don't even remember what it's about. I just remember reading it and thinking, eh. So I don't know if it's worth my time to even tell you what it's about. It looks like it's about a struggling actor. Oh yeah, I think this is the one where she needs money, and so she finds this job where she like goes up to men and sees if they'll cheat with her, and then like tells their girlfriend or something. And I don't know. I've read so many thrillers, specifically domestic thrillers that have to do with cheating, and I'm just getting kind of sick of it and bored of it, because it's like that's the only secret that any of these domestic people ever have is infidelity. And it's like, okay, that's nothing new, that's nothing exciting, that's nothing interesting. They're always like, oh, there's a secret, oh, he's cheating, oh, who saw that coming? Like, I don't know, I'm getting so sick of it. And I know this isn't like a secret, this isn't like the twist, because it obviously is part of the plot. But even so, I just don't want to read about infidelity. I just don't care. So I'm just going to get rid of this one. Okay, so I actually started with The Resort by Sarah Oakes, however you want to say that. So this is the one I started the original vlog, I guess you could call it, with, because it seemed really summery and I wanted to read it while it was still summertime. And I did decide to keep this one. So I don't really remember what it's about though, because it was like 3 months ago. It was like in June when I read this. So I don't remember what this is about, but I think it's like she started it a little bit where it's like this friend group goes to this island and has a vacation or something. But the writing style was fine, the characters were fine, like there was nothing in it that turned me off. So I just decided to keep it. And then the next one that I tried was The Chateau by Jacqueline Goldis. And this one, I have the same exact feelings as The Resort, where the writing style was fine, the characters were fine, there was a little bit of intrigue and mystery. And so I decided to keep this one as well, which actually makes me really happy, because I read the main character by this author. I had a NetGalley arc and I hated that book. I ended up DNFing it. I hated the characters, I hated the writing style, and I was just like, no, because I already own the chateau, and I'd already heard not very good things about this one. I heard it's really kind of slow and boring, and so I was like, no. But I don't know, the first 50 pages I did find it enjoyable, so I'm gonna go ahead and keep it and read it, and we'll figure out how I feel about it. And then we have The Fury by Alex Michaelides, and this one, honestly, I wasn't that interested in reading in the first place, which might have hindered my enjoyment of it. But I had FOMO and it was a book of the month club pick, and so I was like, sure, why not? I'll just go ahead and get it. So I did get this one, but I don't like the writing style at all. Like, it, I don't even know how to explain it. Kind of like everybody in my family has died or has killed someone, sorry, but not in a good way. Like I feel like I actually haven't read Everybody in My Family Has Killed Someone yet. I've read the second one though. I read Everyone on This Train is a Suspect. And I can understand why people don't like it because it's like a talk to you, break the fourth wall type of book, and it kind of foreshadows things that's going to happen, and not everybody likes that. But I thought it was kind of fun. But in this one, it just didn't work for me. I just didn't like the way that he did it. And it was like everything is narrated. I think it's like the omniscient narrator style where, you're looking down on the characters and you could know everything about them and things that they don't even know, and just talking about something in the past and you're just like explaining it. I don't know. I just don't like that. I don't like that writing style. Sometimes it can work, but in this one, it just didn't. So I don't know. I'm just not that interested in this. I'm gonna give it a pass and get rid of it. And then we have The Last Thing He Told Me by Laura Dave. And this one I bought at Target forever ago, just like on a whim, but I never felt compelled to pick it up afterwards. And the first 50 pages weren't bad. They really weren't. It was kind of interesting. It seems like it's going to be a little bit predictable, but maybe that's what they want you to think. And then they'll have a couple of twists I don't see coming. But I don't know. It wasn't bad. It really wasn't. And I've been on the fence on whether I want to keep this one or not. But I don't know. If I'm feeling kind of meh about it, maybe I should just get rid of it because I have so many books on my shelves that need to be read that this one's not going to be a high priority. I'm never going to reach for it. It's probably going to sit on my shelves forever. So I might as well give it to somebody else that actually would really enjoy it and read it faster and quicker than I would. So I'm leaning towards getting rid of it. Oh, and this one is about a woman whose husband goes missing and there's some kind of financial upheaval in his life, and that's kind of suspicious, and she's has to deal with taking care of his daughter because it was her stepdaughter and they don't really get along, but she's got a note from her husband saying to protect her, so she's trying to do that. But this girl is kind of bratty and a teenager and doesn't treat her very well. But like I said, not a bad book, but not one that I'm like super excited to reach for either. And then we have Middle Tide by Sarah Crouch. I got this one in my book of the month box about 2 months ago, and I had never heard of this book. I didn't know anything about it, but it was a thriller pick. It seemed kind of interesting, so I went ahead and chose it. And I actually really liked it. The first 50 pages sucked me in. The writing's really good, the atmosphere is really good. It starts with this woman who is like a doctor or something, but she hung herself, and it's by a river. And so these guys are going down the river in their boat and they see her hanged, and so they call the police. And then we switch to another point of view where there's this Native American girl, and she falls in love with this guy, but he's like, I'm going to go away for college for a few years and I'll come back and get you and we'll get married or whatever. And so she's kind of like, I don't know if I want to wait that long, and is he actually going to come back for me or not? And so he's like, okay, on this day in 4 years, let's meet in this very spot. And so she's like, okay. So then the time comes and she goes there and he doesn't show up. But I don't know. I thought the writing was great. Like I said, I had a lot of atmosphere. I like the characters already. I think this is a good one. So I decided to keep it. And it's super short. Like usually thrillers are bigger than that. But I don't know. I'm intrigued by this one. Then we have Two Little Girls in Blue by Mary Higgins Clark. And this one I also got at a thrift bookstore for like $6. And Mary Higgins Clark is very hit or miss for me. I've read from her some books that I absolutely loved. And then I've read other ones that are very boring and slow. So this one, I was kind of surprised because even if I don't like a book from her, I at least like the writing style because she is a good writer. But I did not like it in this one. There was something about the writing style that I just did not jive with, did not like. And I was just like, ugh, it was kind of cringy, which is weird because she's a very famous author. So I don't know what happened there. Maybe she wasn't as passionate about writing this one as some of her other ones. I don't know what happened, but I did not like the writing style. And this is about two little girls that are kidnapped, but it sounds like it's going to be more like the cop side of things where, you get the ransom and you have to try and find out where they are. And I just feel like I've watched a lot of movies that are like that. And so I was just like, like I don't really want to read this. And like I said, I wasn't getting along with the writing. So I'm just going to get rid of this one. Okay. And then we have The Golden Couple by Sarah Pekkanen and who's the other author? Greer Hendricks. So our booktuber a long time ago said it was good. I want to say it was Haley Hughes, but I'm not sure. And so I was like, oh, cool. So I bought it, and then I just never reached for it. And so I was like, well, I'll just read the first 50 pages, see if it's any good. And actually, I'm going to keep this one because it really did suck me in. It's very interesting. So you have this lady who's a psychiatrist, and she's very shady. She's a very gray character, and she actually loses her license because of the way that she was doing her psychiatry sessions, and her therapies were kind of not ethical. And so she lost her license, but it didn't deter her in the least. She just started her own practice. And she says up front, that she is not a true therapist, but she has like a 10-step program or something that's supposed to help any couple get through their issues. And she's had a lot of success with it. And so now she's like highly sought after, and she has no problem getting clients, even though people know that she's not a practicing therapist necessarily. But you can tell right away that she's very gray, and she does whatever it takes to help her clients, whether that means spying on them or following them or doing unethical things. She has no problem with that. But I don't know, I find it fascinating. Like, her character is fascinating, and this couple's just trying to help. I'm kind of interested in them. The writing's really strong. Like, this one really intrigues me, so I'm excited to finish this one. And that's all the books I have. If some of the ones that I'm getting rid of you would be interested in, I am going to sell these on pango.com, so if you want to purchase them for yourself and see for yourself, then go ahead. If you are interested in my thoughts and some of the ones I'm going to keep, hopefully I'll get to them soon and have some book reviews for you. If you did like this video, please give me a thumbs up to let me know. Please hit the subscribe button if you haven't done so already, and we can become friends and talk about books. And be sure to hit the notification bell so that you won't miss any videos from me, and I'll catch you next time. See ya!